Now I'm going to error from YouTube. Okay, looks like I'm live.
Great. We figured it out.
I hope. Actually, we are live for about 3 seconds, so we're not live right now. I got to figure out what I got to do here. Okay, I think we are live.
Awesome.
I'm just checking. Sorry for anybody watching that we're checking things out. Actually, we are live for about 3 seconds. All right. So it's Howard Owens with the Batavian having some technical issues getting this live stream going. We are interviewing Joey Martinez, manager of the Batavia Muckdogs. We're going to be talking about the upcoming 2022 season. I think we've got things working right, so we're going to give this a try. And Joey, switch the wrong screen here. There you go. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Howard? Good to see you.
Good. I'm going to get you into full screen mode here so we can see you right. That looks good. Hey, so glad to have you on, and happy to talk Muck Dogs baseball. Even though it's a little snowy out here today, we're thinking about the
Yeah,
spring and the summer, and you excited to get back?
absolutely. First of all, thanks for having me again, Howard. You always have been a pleasure. Seeing you at the ball field all the time is great. So good to see you again. Good to talk to you again. It feels like, when you have these conversations, we're getting close.
Yeah. So first of all, let's just kind of you've had done some exciting stuff during the off season. Tell us about what you've been up to.
Yeah. So before we do that, let me go out and say something I want to say.
Okay.
Um, First of all, I want to wish the Nichols family and from our family and all the families in Batavia a lot of prayers and speedy recovery for our boss. Robbie's dealing with some health issues, and we wish him a speedy recovery. This thing doesn't work without him being at the helm. So we all send our prayers and speedy recovery and thoughts with him and his family, and hope he gets back on his feet and is at the ballpark every day. And a big congratulations to Griffin Della Penna, one of our guys that, works for the Sabres now and all that. Wishing him the best. He won't be with us this year, but what a tremendous young man. And it's great to see him, keep growing and chasing his dreams. So, yeah, I mean, exciting stuff over the off season, man. I don't know how you got wind of that, but I got lucky enough to I interviewed with the Washington Nationals, which went pretty well. Got some really good feedback from that. Obviously, didn't get the job, but when you make the final interview, it's always a good thing. And that opened some doors. And I got a phone call from a buddy of mine's that was hiring for the Major League Baseball Player Association during the lockout. So, sent them my resume, and I guess somebody liked it, and I got fortunate enough and blessed enough to go down there, and I worked with big leaguers every single day. Kind of as pre-spring training, spring training down in Mesa for about. I was down there for about 4.5 weeks. So it
Yeah,
was an amazing experience working with big leaguers every day, and that's a whole different level, and
right.
it was just to get that experience.
I know you're a very experienced baseball man, a great baseball background, but that's still got to be also just a great learning experience for you. Every time you get exposed to the highest level, you learn something new, right?
Yeah, you do. I actually did, and it's good because I think the most valuable thing I got from that is the things that I did grasp on and held on to, and really, I picked all these guys' brains, and these are things that I could bring back to our guys. So I think that's the most valuable impact it has for me. I was impacted from day one, and to get that experience and bring it back to all our guys in the summer, I think is going to be invaluable.
Well, tell us about how preparations are going for this season. I'm sure you're lining up players. Anybody you can talk about yet, and kind of how are things looking?
Um, I know how the boss is, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we can't really talk about some guys that we haven't released to the press yet. But we do have a lot of returners. Some of those guys have been posted on our fan page. I'll talk about some of those guys, like you got Julian Pichardo, one of our big time pitchers from last year is coming back. AJ Winger, Birdman, sidearm specialist, pitching really well during the season. We have Trey Bacon. Trey Bacon is one of those grinders. He loves to get after it, and he's really good out of the bullpen starter. Whatever he does, man, he gives it his all. He's a great asset to have out of that bullpen, and plays a little bit of infield once in a while. We have Danny Burroway, big bat for us. He's coming back. Rich Fleming. These guys have been part of our success there. Bryce Martellaro, our catcher, he's kind of one of the leaders in the clubhouse for us. So having him back and healthier and better, all these guys are bigger, healthier, better, and more experienced. And the good news is we do have some local guys coming back. Some fan favorites like Tyler Prospero and and Jerry Reinhardt. So I don't think that's been let out to the press. So I might let the cat out the bag there. But those could, we there was a rule change in Perfect Game. So they're allowing seniors to get one more look, via the draft and the scouts that come out to our game. So I think that's huge for those seniors to get one more crack at it, one more opportunity to open some eyes. So I think the league did the right thing, and I think it's real special for those guys to finish um, their summer ball, and potentially, hopefully, not their careers in Batavia. We want those guys to move on, and I think they will. They're both very talented kids. So just to have those guys back and have that a whole element in our clubhouse, just those guys kind of know what we want there, what we like, and I think they're going to help all the new guys that come in, and they'll set the standard and be leaders in the clubhouse and let these guys know what we need and what we like in Batavia and how we run our program.
Are you able to talk about any other, local kids that might get a crack at the team this year? You looking at anybody? You think we'll see more?
Yes, we got two younger guys. Excited about those kids because what makes it exciting with those kids is if everything works out well, these are guys that we could have for the next 3 or 4 years. You know what I mean? So it's good for them to be away and go play college ball, but and then to have that experience to come home and play in their backyard, that's pretty special. So if we can groom these guys for the next 3 or 4 years, I think they'll be a big part of what we do. One of them is Strader. And the other kid is Graz, Erica's son. I don't know, I don't want to butcher his last name, but we call him Graz, right?
Yeah.
So a young catcher and a guy that Strader's a left-handed pitcher is committed to Niagara. So hopefully he's gonna help us on the mound. He might get some outfield time as well. We're pretty loaded out there, but just to get these young guys out there and be a part of what we do, I think experience-wise, it really helps them more going forward in their college career, and as well as preparing them to take over eventually in Batavia for us as well. So I think that's good. We have a lot of local flavor this year, which is always great for Batavia.
So you brought up the rule change. I was just going to ask you, kind of how do you anticipate that impacts the team, and how's that impact your management?
Um, I think it impacts our roster in the sense that we can add experience. Guys that played 3 or 4 years of college baseball, and those guys played with us last year, and I think they are a big part of our success last year. So to have that experience where they can hand it down to the younger guys that we have on board, I think is huge. And I think that the league did the right thing by letting these seniors play. I think I was an advocate for that at one point, and I still am. I'm glad they did it. I didn't push it too hard, but I just thought it would be good for the league overall in general, and just to have a lot of upperclassmen that are playing and with experience and guys that can hand. Yeah, they're just gonna help your clubhouse out. These guys are. We got some freshmen and sophomores coming in. These guys are the guys they can learn from. They've been there, done that. Especially they played for us already as well. So I thought it's going to impact our roster a little bit because with these older guys, they tend to play well. Not that anybody else won't. They'll play well and they'll eat up some at bats and some innings. You know what I mean? So some guys got to compete and try to take their jobs. But we're building a competitive environment. We did over recruit this year just for that reason, to make sure it's a pretty competitive environment out there every single day.
So let's talk about your experience in Batavia last year. Obviously, you wanted to come back. What brought you back?
First and foremost, I always defer to my players, right? When I can get guys to come back, that commitment from them it kind of pushes your hand to commit back to them as well. That's a big thing. I'm always about my guys. Those guys come first to me. There's a couple. I mean, they're all kind of equal in value. Just the simple fact that you have an owner like Robbie Nichols and Nelly, and everybody there from top to bottom in that staff, from Mark Witt to all these guys that, Ken Dog, Griffin. I mean, they made that experience so much fun. I think it was so magical that how can you repeat that, right? So it's kind of your challenge this year is to repeat that magical inaugural season. But I think, working for a guy like Robbie, who as baseball guys, we're pretty particular on who we, how we handle our baseball business. And Robbie has you know, given me full reins with that. And as a manager, you kind of like the GM not to be involved in decisions, and like some other organizations. And Robbie just says baseball operations are yours, and you do what you do, and I do what I do, and I respect that for him a lot. That he gives me that freedom to do what I need to do on the baseball side of it, and the support whenever I need something. He's like done. You know what I mean? So to have an owner like that just wants the same thing we want, which is to win and be successful as an organization, it kind of is a no-brainer. And all the compliments that I received from Nelly throughout the course of the season, the whole staff, like I said, and especially one of the big reasons are all the amazing fans in Batavia, man. Those guys are some of the best fans in baseball. I mean, you hear, when they, it's 3,000, 4,000 people in there, you hear people skip all the way across the stadium. You're like, man, you're pretty famous out. You're pretty popular, and it's just really cool that the town and the communities really embrace that team, and that makes it a fun place to play. That's a lot of reasons why I came back: ownership, the organization, the town, the people. People like yourself, Howard, support us and put it out there. And I just overall, it's a team. It's a like Robbie says, it's a communities team. And you can really feel that with that organization. And when you're drawing 2, 3,000, 4,000 people a night, you kind of tell that they're really involved with it. And we love that. As players and the coaches, we love that these kids get out there and play in front of a supportive group of fans. And it's a magical place to play. And like it's to me it's Robbie and Nelly's baby. And I tell them all the time, as much as it is your baby, is my baby, because I want to win. So it's kind of, I think we set the culture there last year, as far as the organization and players and what we stand for in the community. And so I try to make it really tough for Robbie to ever replace me, because I told him I'm going to set the standard. We're going to set the standard so high that it's going to be tough. So, And I think we've got that feedback from the fans and the organization and the community. And so, yeah, Batavia is just a special place to play, man. So it was a no-brainer for me to come back.
He's probably more worried about losing you as you are ready to advance in your career than he is thinking about replacing you.
Well, you know what? Money talks, right, Robbie?
So I didn't mean to get into a negotiation here for you, but
I'm always me and Robbie. Robbie knows I'm always poking for it. You know what I mean?
You got to if you don't I learned a long time ago in business and working for other people, if you don't advocate for yourself, nobody else will.
So, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. So
I'm always advocating for it. I mean, through text, phone, messages, whatever. You might hang up on me sometimes, but it's all good.
So one of the things when I think about the last season is just the interaction with the kids. So, so many kids come out to the games. They really seem to enjoy it. And your players both seem to be really welcoming it. And at times, I think, display incredible patience because they get bugged during the games and in the dugout and everything. Yeah. But just talk, what's that mean for you? And what's it mean for the players to have the young children come out and be so enthusiastic about the team?
I think it's really, really a big learning curve when they first get there. Some of these kids never experienced that, and I tell these kids during the recruiting process, one, it's a special place to play. The fans adore you there. And the kids, more than anything else, are your biggest fans. And I just tell them, remember that you were that kid one day. You were that kid, right? You were the one that wanted the autograph in the baseball. And so I said, treat them accordingly. I said, they're the ones that eat, live, breathe you guys. And just to see you brings us, if you interact with one kid, man, that kid will never stop talking about it. I remember I gave a kid a ball and, his dad still tells me he slept with it that night and he hasn't stopped talking about it, which is great. But I think the kids, when they realize how important they are to these kids or these fans, it also motivates them. So it's kind of a win-win. It motivates them to play well in front of these kids and these fans. And, it's just, I think in the past too, what I've kind of gotten some feedback on is when you had affiliated ball there, some of these guys weren't as friendly or fan friendly, let's say. They might have been great people, but as far as fan friendly, and I get it, sometimes at the pro level that's kind of frowned upon. You're there to handle your business, you know what I mean, and so on and so on. But I think that was one of the biggest culture things that we wanted to change, was to make sure that we are involved with the kids in the community, and that our kids understood whether you had a bad day or a good day. That kid asked you for an autograph, you sign it. If he takes a picture, you want to take a picture, you sign it. I don't care what kind of day you had. You would have went, you could go for 4 strikeouts. And you walk back to that clubhouse and that kid says, hey, can I take a picture? Your answer should be yes. And I tell my guys, I better not hear otherwise. So, and I think they accept that. And it's a good learning thing for everybody. So to see that, I think we're going to see that more this year, because I think there's going to be more schools that we reached out to bring guys out. And so I'm looking forward to the attendance to increase this year with that, especially with the kids, because the kids really make our day there. You know what I mean? Yes, and they do. They're over the dugout, say, hey, can I get a ball? Can I get a ball? And we got to constantly say, hey, let these guys focus a little bit. Maybe after the game, and that's constant throughout the game. Mm-hmm. And our clubby, E-Bars, Eric, he helps us out with that a lot. So E-Bars is another guy that's real special to our organization. He kind of does a lot of policing in the clubhouse when we're there. I mean, in the dugout with the kids. So you get that. The kids get harassed all day long.
Just kind of talk, if you don't mind, so just my own observations on the topic of player interaction with the fans and the kids is my sense, and I thought about this more, last season, seeing how the players reacted differently. Is I feel like the pro players, they realize they're getting paid to be there. It's it's not just a game, it's a job. And they're trying to impress their seriousness about the job, about winning, and that to kind of let down their guard and take off their game face. I think they sense that that's possibly a risk to their career prospects, and so they're trying to just be serious about the game, and not that your players aren't as equally passionate about winning, but they're not feeling that same kind of pressure. They can go out and be loose and have fun.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I agree. I think and I think maybe that's what's missing in pro ball. You know what I mean? That we shouldn't get obviously, it's a job, and it's a very hard job to do. When you're trying to make it to the big league level, fighting hundreds of kids, or millions of kids listed for only hundreds of or thousands of jobs. That's
mm-hmm.
it. So, the pressure's there where you can be replaced pretty easily every day. There's another 10,000 guys that you're in your area just want your job. So I get it. I just think because it's so serious and it's a stressful atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
because you're fighting for your job every single day. That's what pro baseball is. And I think some of that seriousness or some of that pressure could be relieved, or just enjoy the moment a little bit more. Interact with fans a little bit more. It might relieve you, might make you a better player because you're so much more relaxed. So I think that's what's missing. If you ask me, if I was one day, hopefully, if I'm a manager, I'm gonna tell my guys, man, have fun with these people, man. Like this is what this is about. It doesn't last forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So while you do it, enjoy it and make memories while you're doing it. And I guarantee you, the stress level goes down if you're a little bit more loose in that area, I guess.
I think so. I was thinking, Rob Manfred and the rest of the Lords of Baseball would probably do well to come to Batavia and see a game and say, and convince their players and the management of these teams. I think these players would be better off if they had more of experience like your players are getting. That it would help them at the major league level to deal with fans better and take some of that pressure off.
I think it helps everybody across the board.
Mm-hmm.
The players, the organization, the fan base. I mean, you just we it's not a fluke that we you know double their attendance there. You know what I mean? And some days triple their attendance. So and it's because it's an event for us, right? It's an event. It's something to do in Batavia for a relatively cost effective price. Have a good time, see some good baseball, and guess what? You might get a ball. You might take a picture with a guy. You might go play catch with a guy. So it becomes an overall family experience for everybody. And I think that's what makes our organization successful, and it makes it a special place to play.
So let's get, what's your prognostications for the coming season? What are your expectations? How are you going to handle things?
I only have one expectation, and that's win.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know. I think we learned a lot last season. As you remember, we were one of the hottest teams going into the last couple of weeks of the season. Winning 8 out of 10, whatever, just playing really good baseball, and missed the playoff by one game. So that kind of still stings a little bit. All off season, you got to deal with that. And I racked my brain all off season on a lot of factors of where can we get better at? How can we make this better? How can I get better? That's something I live and die with every day. Like, how can I get better? Because if I get better, then our players get better, our coaches get better, the organization gets better. So that I kind of go through a whole off season of figuring out what we can do better. So I think we addressed a lot of needs that, according to what happened last season, the results that we had, we were 3 or 4 games over 500, something like that, and we missed the playoffs by one game. So for us, we have the team this year, and I think Robbie set the tone in the last game of the season. I was graceful enough to receive a 2-year extension on that field that day, and I love the phrase that he used. Next year we have unfinished business. So I think that theme is our motivation this year. Outside of just having a good team and playing good baseball, I think unfinished business for us is kind of our go-to this year. As motivation, because we felt like we deserved to get in and we didn't, and that's just baseball. That's the way it is. We don't, we're not crying over spilled milk, but we're going into the season with the same expectations as last season. We're gonna go in there, give us our all every day, play our butts off every day, work hard every day, and put a good product on the field and try to win games and try to win our division first and foremost. If we get in the dance, then just getting to dance is is half the battle, and then when we get there, we just move on to the next goal. So we got to set some short-term goals, which is win a lot of games, try to win the division, get in the dance anywhere we can, and then once we get in the dance, we get a chance to mingle with everybody else. So I think that's our goal this year, and we're not going to change. We're never going to deviate from that. As long as I'm at the helm and Robbie's the boss, I think we're definitely all about winning, and that's what we want to do. Especially for Batavia, I think Batavia is one of those towns that is just starving for it and deserves it, and hopefully we can deliver.
Well, you kind of talked missing playoffs by one game, as I remember it, there was a little controversy there at the end and how that finished.
Yeah.
And I gotta think have you dwelled on that during the off season? Is that going to add a little fire?
Yeah, I think it does. But again, it's something that it's out of you gotta when it comes to coaching or an organization, we just gotta control the controllables. You know what I mean? Control what we do, control what our players do, what our organization does. We got to control the controllables, so we can't worry about those controversies or those mishaps that we can't control. Was it unfortunate? Yeah, but who knows if it even would have helped us or not? You know what I mean? But at the same time, yeah, there was some scheduling conflicts. We got a few rainouts that we couldn't make up, which was games that I thought we can win, and that could have been the difference. And but you can also go back to the beginning of the season where there was a couple of games that we let get away, and that could have been the difference too. So we just got to control the controllables and not worry about the other obstacles that are thrown at us from things that we can't control, whether it's the scheduling or the rainouts or whatever have you. I mean, we just got to do what we got to do as a team and handle our business, and then let the chips fall where they fall.
So is that part of your message to the players, especially those that are returning? They're going to be able to share the stories too. These early games are just as important as the late games, because you don't win them, you wind up in that situation where you need that one win that at the end of the game, at the end of the season. Correct. If you can capture some of those early games, you might have some cushion there at the end.
Correct. I tell one of the messages that we deliver in our clubhouse is we say we can't win it at the beginning, but we can sure lose it. You know what I mean? And because you dig yourself a hole deep enough in that league, it's hard for you to dig your way out of it. But you can damn sure, you can lose it if you don't, play well early. You can't win it, but it puts you in a better position going from mid-season on. You know what I mean? Because it's a grind. You play every day, for 2.5 months, and it's a grind, and you got to be able to manage, rest and bodies and arms, and so there's a lot of there's a lot of intricacies that come into making all those decisions to make sure that we're right there at the end. So a lot of intangibles that people don't see. So the thing about it is I think it'll motivate the players that were there. I think they'll pass that message on in our clubhouse, and I think they'll come in a little motivated. I did speak to a couple of them, and they did say, man, if we play like we played at the end of the season at the beginning, we're going to be in it. And so I think they already know the message. And I think that's a message I let those guys deliver in the clubhouse to each other. And we just, my message is control the controllables, do what we got to do. Beat the teams that we have to beat, win the games that we have to win, and just win one pitch at a time, one at bat at a time, one inning at a time. And at the end of it, we should be in the mix. I think we have a pretty good roster coming this year.
Well, you're getting me fired up, Coach.
Yeah, I'm fired up now.
So
like I said last year, I was wishing the season was tomorrow, man. I've been looking forward to this since last season because of that, the way we ended, and I really felt like we could have made some noise as well as we were playing, so this year is going to be again over the off season is me figuring out what kind of needs we needed or we missed from last year. So we addressed more middle relief pitching. I thought our starters did really well last year. So I think doing the recruiting was let's get some more lefties in there. So we got a nice amount of lefties coming out the bullpen or starters, and we improved in some positions that where we cut down the swing and miss guys and got more guys with better bat to ball skills. I think we got just overall I think 21, 22 pitchers coming. So we address those needs, and we got some returners, and we got some young guys that you guys will get excited about. I wish I could mention right now, but we do. I'll spoil this a little bit. We have a kid coming from uh, USC. He's a Pac-12 guy, doing really well right now. Won't mention his name. We'll let Robbie do that. Let the organization do that. And then we have another kid that's a Georgia Tech commit. That's a big school, and the kid's a potential draft pick. So we got a Columbia kid, I believe. We have a Toledo kid that we're looking really high on. And he's kind of local, but not local, but he's not too far away. But
Mm-hmm.
another Division One kid. We got a bunch of guys coming back from Niagara as well. Niagara and us and our organization have created a pretty good relationship. And we were happy with their guys last year. So we get Prospero back, a couple other guys from that school. So we're looking forward to having those guys and all the local guys. And we're excited about our roster. I think we addressed a lot of needs from last year. And if we, like you said, if we play early the way we did at the end, I think we're going to be a team that's going to be exciting throughout the whole season.
Well, I grew up in San Diego, so I always seek out the San Diego kids. And I was actually surprised last year you had a kid from San Diego. So now you guys come from USC, so he's got the Southern California connection. I like that. Hey,
we got another kid from California.
All right.
Another kid coming from over there.
Great. So I wanted to come back to Robbie Nichols for a minute. Now my dog's going to bark. You mentioned talked about him wanting to win, and it occurs to me one thing that separates him from maybe other he's not just another manager who happens to have the money to own the team. He's competed at high levels himself, and so he's got. Just talk about his competitive spirit for a minute. What do you pick up from him, and how's he interact with the players?
Robbie. Robbie. Yeah.
Well, he has been even with having a cane and being out, obviously in some pain, he's still out there in the community and taking care of business and promoting the team, and I think that shows his competitive spirit right there. Great. Well, we've been here for 35 minutes. Anything else you want to add? Anything sum up?
And some whiskey. So
And we talked about that last year, but some personal stuff got in the way. But we can get together.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I totally.
Great. Well, I know I'm not the only one that's excited about the upcoming season, and wish you well, and look forward to putting up a lot of W's.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Good seeing you, Howard, man. Stay classy. See you soon, buddy.
Great, thanks.
All right, take it easy.
So Howard Owens at the Batavian. We've been talking with Joey Martinez, manager of the Muckdogs, talking about the 2022 season. That's Nellie Bly in the background, causing a lot of racket, but we'll see you around.